It's time for another episode of the Daily K Podcast on KTTV.com with your host, Kendrick Thomas. Bridging the gap between the school and community, here's KT.
What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the Daily K Podcast. And on today's Wellness Wednesday episode, I have the founder of Sisters Cafe and the author of The Best Version of You, Miss Gladys Bowden. How you doing tonight, Miss Glad?
I'm good. How are you?
Look, I am very excited to have you on. You know, it's always good when I can go home and talk to somebody who's doing amazing things for my family and for my people at the house. Nice. So I'm ecstatic.
Okay, good.
Hey. So as this is a Wellness Wednesday, before we jump into things, I like to always do a wellness check. So how are you and how have you been doing during this crazy pandemic?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Through the pandemic, I think I've been okay. Mm-hmm. I think I've been okay. Now, aside from all the disaster that it caused and the deaths, and, you know, my heart goes out to people who have lost, which we have lost people in our family as well from COVID. And my heart goes out to everybody who has. But on the flip side, it made me be still. Mm. It was the only thing, the only thing I think in the world that caused me to be still. And I kind of liked it. Yeah. I like the online everything, working from home. Now I worked through the whole pandemic, so I was able to go out, no traffic, nobody at McDonald's, nobody in the grocery store. It was amazing. Yes. It was amazing. Church was online. I didn't have to go nowhere. I was feeling that, like, for real. I was. So that was the good thing out of it. But yes, of course, I would have never wanted it, of course, because of the disaster and the hurt that has caused most people.
I can dig that. Like I said, as I went through the beginning of the pandemic, I remember just setting up so many shows, reaching educators just around the world, you know, and saying, okay, well, how are you all shifting? What are you all doing to work online? And so I think about reaching out still to some of those educators till this day. They're still at the house. Some of them said, we just going to go full time online. So, man, it did make you sit down for a little while.
You have no choice.
And gather yourself.
No movies, no mall, no dinner, no nothing. Yes.
And the killing part is I don't think we would ever, hopefully not under those conditions, get that opportunity, you know, to just take some time. I think about so many entrepreneurs came out on the other side of this. So many people who really found out what their purpose was by taking time with themselves.
Right.
Yes.
And it was amazing. But it taught us how to do things differently. Yeah. You can either shut down your business or you can figure out how to do it. You can either continue with your podcast or your show, or you figure out another way to do it. And we figured out another way to get it done. So that part I thought was amazing.
Yeah. I remember I was doing shows. I think the week before I was doing some STEM stuff with Legos and the Lego League. And so they were coming and we were doing these competitions. I was emceeing. Next week, the whole world shut off. But I think about I was doing my podcast in person. I was working it. And all of a sudden. But look, we still here. I like this. Now I'm in Shreveport.
I love it.
Yeah, that's it, you know. So,
you can reach more people this way. I mean, think about it. Doing in-person podcasts and shows, that's in person, or you paying somebody to come through. Mm-hmm. Right now, we can reach anybody, anywhere, for any time. Yeah. And it broadens our horizon. I love it.
I'm telling you, we here. So jumping into and I see the background back there, the best version of me. Hey, so thinking about just you and getting into a little bit of background about you. So moving from Cali to Shreveport, Louisiana, represent
Cali. Hey. All day.
So you're thinking about that fresh start, fresh scenery. Talk to me a little bit about your background and what prompted that move.
The move was something I felt like I needed to do for me. I really felt stuck. Really stuck, kind of like enclosed. It was ridiculous, and I didn't realize it was getting worse and worse, and it was like, it's got to be something else other than this. But my biggest thing was I wanted to see what I was outside of being the pastor's kid, the church administrator, mommy. I wanted to see what else. I had dreams and goals before I had kids. I had dreams and goals I was trying to build when I had the children and growing, raising them, but I needed to know what I could do.
Yeah.
I needed to know, and I thought a fresh aspect. It's not so much of the scenery. Yes, I like the seasons. It don't snow in California. Yeah. Well, not in San Diego anyway. We don't get the fall, summer. It's just, it's bright, it's sunny, it rains, it might be cold a little bit, but it's back to being it's California.
Yeah.
So the change of scenery also provided me a change of people, atmosphere. I got to come out here and see what I could be.
Yeah.
There's nobody around and say, "Oh, ain't you the pastor's kid? Oh, didn't you used to do this? Oh, weren't you married to?" None of that. I get to come out and I get to choose who I want to be. You see what I'm saying? I got to choose that, and I thought it was amazing. The hardest part for me was to leave the boys. That was big. That was big to leave my children. And shout out to my children, Gary, Deontay, and Milton, Destiny, and my baby Harmony. Shout out to you guys. I love you. But I felt that was the first step to being the best me.
Yeah.
I had to know what I could do.
Yeah.
Not only that, I felt that the door was open. There was an opportunity right then, right there. The door was open. If I didn't step through it, I would end up doing the same thing I'm doing for the next 40 years. And that scared me more than leaving and making the change. Doing the same thing for the rest of my entire life, it is scary to me.
Yeah.
It's so scary. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to check back 10 years from now, 15 years, and I'm doing the same exact thing. No, sir.
That's it.
No,
I seen you got that plug in there too, though. When you say I need to be the best version, I seen that shameless plug. Look,
but you know what? I'm gonna be honest. It's not even a plug anymore. Yeah. It's a movement for real.
That's it.
It's a movement. It's something I strive to be every day. You know what I mean? I'm not just writing about it. I'm not just wearing a t-shirt. I'm doing it.
Yeah. And
that's something I work on every day. There's always room for improvement. Always room for improvement. And that's where I'll be at.
Yeah, I remember thinking about that Les Brown clip, and he said, practice makes perfect. And he said, undo that thinking, right? Because you can always better your best.
You can.
You can always get better. Absolutely. So Peter and Darlene Armstrong, what they said, hello guys, hey, all right now. Yeah, they say just always, I'm getting better. So now you touched down in Shreveport.
I did.
We got the casino. We got that. I don't know what it was. All I know is I'm old school Pete Harris. And we got the tartar sauce. We got Southern made donut. How was it when you touched down in Shreveport, Louisiana?
Well, I mean, a little history. My grandma was born here.
Okay.
My mom was born here. Then they moved to the West Coast. So I've been coming to Shreveport once a year up until I was 16, in which I graduated from high school and then went to the military. So I've been here. Yeah. So some moved to the West Coast, but all of grandma's siblings, kids are here.
Yeah.
And then my baby sister moved here. So it's not like I just showed up on a boat and I don't know where I'm going,
Yeah.
Like, it's folks here. I got a city full of folks. So.
And my friend Lakeisha, she calls it a PK when she say preacher's kid.
Right.
But coming up in the church, thinking about the ministry of the Sisters Cafe, like goes hand in hand, right?
Right.
So talk to us about Sisters Cafe and what exactly do you do as you serve women?
Okay. So Sisters Cafe started as what I thought was filling a need. So this started back I did a proposal to the church about 2001. And that's when I first presented it to my pastor at the time. So the goal was to fill the gap. You got your youth department and then you got missionary department. I mean, what happens to us in between? You know, we don't, at 25, 35, I don't want to be a missionary. I don't. I'm not ready to be, well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not ready to be up there yet with the missionaries. And I just felt like we were leaving out the gap of the 35 to 65-year-olds. What do we do? Who do we go to? What do we get to do? So that's how it started. It didn't turn into a show till later on.
Yeah.
You know, it was a means of sisters. I don't care if you are the first lady, the deaconess, the preacher, the pastor, whatever. When we come to the table, we sisters. Titles mean nothing. Not that we don't respect it. We absolutely respect your title. However, that's not what we're here for right now. It's to empower, to uplift. It's for me to be able to say something crazy is going on. Like there was nobody to go tell. You know, I had like an issue. If I wanted to have questions about raising my boys, and maybe I thought it was off, or it was weird that I like this one and this one and this one get on my nerve like real bad. You know, is instead of me thinking something's wrong with me, I wanted to create a space where another mother could say, baby, that's normal. It was nice to hear somebody say, I had that issue and I did this. You know, it wasn't just a condemning or you don't like your kids, you're going straight to hell. It was none of that. It was a safe place for us to grow, for us to become better people, for us to become whole for Christ. That was the whole purpose, is for us to be okay and not think that something is seriously wrong with our relationship with God when our thoughts don't line up. Teach me what to do with it. How can I deal with this? You know what I mean? You got people who are single. They've been married and now they're single. Who can I run to and tell that, hey, I need some help over here?
Yeah.
You know, safely, by the way, safely without thinking something is wrong. And that's what Sisters Cafe was created for, to bridge the gap. It wasn't until later on where it became, okay, you know what? Let me be the voice for them. Because prior to 40, I wouldn't say nothing. I couldn't. You can't say that. You can't do that. You can't be like that. You can't think that. So after 40, I didn't care no more.
Yeah.
Well, and I thought, how many other women are suffering in silence?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They don't think they can say anything because you walk in and you think, oh, people were born into Christ. They were born. They weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't. They had to practice it just like you do. They had to pray just like you do. So it was just an area for us to come together and help one another and build one another up. That's what Sister Cafe is. It's when my sister wins, I win. Nice. That means if I build a company, you got a job. I got a car, you got a ride. I got a house, you got somewhere to stay. I got some chicken, you got dinner. Yeah. That's what it is. When my sister wins, I win. And that's what it is.
Look, I'm gonna go through these comments. I remember when I was talking about the food and you say about the Southern Maid. Now let's say I'm hungry. Let's see what Destiny say. Hey Gladys, so proud of you. You are my hero, my phenomenal woman. Shout out to the Sisters Cafe. And what Ray said, safely is the key word without judgment.
Right.
I agree. You got to create safe spaces. Even as I work with my young men at school, you know, it's all about, like I say, that's part of our pledge, just creating a safe space with confidentiality, all those pieces, right? So awesome work that you're doing. How did you, so when you got ready to take it to the show, and now you create the podcast, how often do you do it?
I try to do it once a week.
Okay,
but
once a week.
It didn't start off that way.
Yeah. When
I moved here, it was radio first. I did radio, Sisters Cafe radio for 2 years. And then, you know, that's a little pricey when you get radio time. But then what was happening was I had sponsors. And shout out to the sponsors that I had. I appreciate them, but it just wasn't a consistency. Yeah. So when I learned that the podcast, yes, there's some cost to it, but it's way less expensive. I thought, let me go on the switch. And there's no, it's my show. You see what I'm saying? nobody gets to say, oh, don't say that. Don't talk about that. Don't bring up. I could talk about Jesus all day long. It's my show. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So I like the podcast freedom of it. And I like that I get to control it. Yeah. You know, not that I'm a control person, but I like that I can control it. I get to make it how I want it. And it was the best thing ever. I wish I would have known about it before.
Yeah. And what goes into picking out the guests, you know, when you think about the women empowerment, is it a certain like network, or how's that happen?
It's not. Generally, that's what I usually do. Most people be like, well, you didn't like this on Facebook. I'm working. I'm on Facebook and I'm looking. If something is interesting or it falls in line with what I'm trying to do, then I reach out. Yeah. I definitely reach out. And vice versa. If I see somebody who's trying to empower people or help people, then I offer my services as well. Mm-hmm. So it's no particular person. And just for the record, I know it's Sisters Cafe, but it is not just for the sisters. It's not. Okay. It's not. Brothers are very welcome, because I think what we talk about, the things we talk about, applies to everybody. Being the best version of you is not just for women. It's for men as well. I know the book is pink. I get that, and I got a few. Shout out to all my brothers who have bought their book. I appreciate you. But yeah, it's not just for women.
Speaking of diving into the work, and talking about the book. So people who struggle, and this was a good one for me, because I know in the words it says, for people who struggle with being loyal to others over themselves. Right. And you know, I think about women, but moreover Black women in our community, and that maternal and the background of that. So what was the motivation for the book, and was there really a personal story that kind of pushed you into this penmanship?
It was. It didn't set out to write a book. It was a form of therapy for me. And a little bit of history, a lot of things that I was dealing with. Like I said, I felt like I was being smothered, like suffocated where I was. I had to change. But I've never been by myself before. Never. I've always had either siblings, and then I went to the military, so there's a whole bunch of people there. And then I had kids, and I, got married, had some kids, and I've never, ever been by myself. This gave me the opportunity to sit in that. At first, I kind of fought it and struggled with it, because what was happening is when you learn to be by yourself and you give yourself time to sit in it, there's things that's going to come up that you suppressed a long time ago. All those things you swept under the rug, all those hurts that you was like, yeah, never mind, I ain't got time for it. All that surfaces because you have nothing else to distract you. So I had to do a self-check. So it started out with me writing what was going on with me. And it was just a means of therapy. Then it turned into like this pity party pamphlet. This person did this to me, and and I'm crying and I'm mad and all kinds of stuff. And I thought, what good does this do? If you write all this in your pity, somebody else is going through this. Somebody else is going to find themselves in the pages of this book. Absolutely are going to find themselves. Why not help somebody? Yeah. And it took me a long time. I had like 10 book names, and I put them all on the wall. I had them on the wall, and every other day I'd be like, not that one. That's how I chose my book name. But I'm like, you know what? This is what this is. It's self-development. It's self-love. It's self-awareness. This is me trying to be the best I can be. Because I wanted to be the best I can be, so I can be what I need to other people. I can't be the best mom if I'm wilding out in my head. I can't. And granted, my babies are grown, but I still can be the best mom. You know what I mean? Do you know how amazing it is when my children say something to me right now, like, Mom, I'm proud of you. Or I hear them shout out, oh, my mom did this, or my mom. That is the most amazing feeling in the entire world. And I want to be that. I want to be the best church member. I want to be the best wife. I want to be the best friend I can be. But if I don't get all this together, How can I be that?
Yeah, most definitely.
So that's what it was. I spent years being what people wanted me to be. Mm-hmm. I just adapt. In my head, now thinking about it, that's crazy. That means I'm creating personalities for whoever I got to be around. That's psycho in my head. I mean, when I'm with this person, I'm like this, and this person needs me to be this way, and the kids need me to be this way, and the church people need me to be this way. That's bananas. And at the end of the day, one, I was extremely unhappy, extremely depressed, extremely just not there. And two, they talk about you anyway when you don't do it anymore. So you did all that for what? For what? Why not just do what makes you happy?
I can dig it.
From jump.
Man.
So that's
ooh. Look, so hold on, I'm gonna get to some comments, and then my next question is that one's gonna take you for a loop then. So Damian Lyon, excellent points made. Safe spaces are important. So most definitely, man. I think that's the only way you can really get people to kind of let their guard down, but you only get free once your guard is down and you become vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Destiny says, I like how she talks about the subjects. The main thing is no judgment. Amen. We live in a society that's politically correct and judgment. This is the gray area that is needed. Awesome work. I can dig it. Life hacks with Liv when she say, I love this. Ray, that's real. Most definitely.
And I was gonna say, think about it too. We're doing all this to please people, right? Yeah. And when you think about it for real, you the only person you're gonna die with.
Amen.
So why not make you happy? Like, for real.
Yeah, but now this is the question. When I do that, and that was my next question, some people believe that doing what's best for them is selfish and they feel guilty, right?
Yeah.
So now, how does your book, if it touches on this, does it even cover how to help them like not feel guilty about working to be the best version, which sometimes leaves people to the wayside?
It does, but first of all, the best thing to do is not compare your situation to anybody else's. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, what works for me might not work for you. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And of course, you want to create a balance. You don't want to create more chaos than you already got. But it took me about 40 years to figure it out. But I was that person. Yeah. And when I'm not gonna lie and say I don't have to remember, okay, take care of yourself. Because my goal, my first part is to take care of somebody else. Yeah. It's natural. It's natural. But when I learned that people will use you up, they'll just keep using, keep taking, keep asking, and you are left with nothing. You're left empty and exhausted. You can't so you're going to go help somebody clean their house, but your house look a wreck. So when you get done cleaning their house, and this is just an example because it's a whole bunch of things. You get done helping them clean their house. Now you come home and you sitting here like, well, who gonna help me clean this? You don't even have any more energy for yourself. And that's one of the things the book talks about is the value of no. You have to say no to other people so you can say yes to yourself. It's not selfish. It's not selfish. It is necessary. One of the things that I learned, and yes, for me, I'm a little hard-headed. I don't know if anybody else out there is hard-headed. I am. So it took sickness to shake me out of that. At one point, I was so stressed. Literally, I got vertigo, Bell's palsy. My face was distorted. And I thought, God, for real? That's my face. I got to do book covers and podcasts. Lord, my face is crooked, but I heard, be still, sit down somewhere. Stop just going. I just keep saying yes and yes and yes and yes and yes. And guess what? Couldn't nobody that I helped help me fix my face.
Come on now.
Nobody. Yeah. I had to do that on my own with myself. So it got to the point where, no, sir. Right now, I'm better at saying no. And for those, because no is a bad word. It was such a bad word to me. Such a bad word, because not only do I not like to hear the word no, I don't like to say the word no. So it just got to the point where it's too expensive. If it's too expensive, and I mean emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, if it's too expensive, and money, if it's too expensive, I can't do it.
Most definitely.
I can't afford to be empty like that. I can't. So that's what it is. If they're guilty, I'll just start little.
Yeah.
Just start little. And what is self-time for you might not be self-time for me. And it could be anything. It can be mani-pedis. It can be going for a walk. It could be watching a movie. It could be going to treat yourself to some ice cream. And one of my personal favorites, it could be doing nothing at all. Just nothing. I don't want my phone to ring. I just want to put on a good movie. And I've probably seen it like 6 times already. I just want to watch it again in peace. That's the way I treat myself. Yeah. Do nothing. Yeah. So you have to start small. You have to start small. And again, still working on that. Because I'll see something like the other day. I saw a watch I wanted, but I was like, oh yeah, but that grandbaby need, she got 2 parents. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna buy me my watch. Somebody's gonna get her what she needs. But we have to think about those things. We're so quick to help, and that's nothing wrong with helping. But it just can't be at the expense of your mental. That leaves you with regret. It leaves you with feeling rejected. It makes you bitter. It makes you really bitter. Like I just thought about how bitter that makes you when you're pleasing everybody else and you have to go home and sit in that. Yeah. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Practice.
Liv said your authenticity is so refreshing. And Ray touched on something that's cool. She says okay to be selfish, especially when you're giving so much of yourself to others over the years. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Right. Amen. You can't. You can't. And let me use this example because I do use it in the book. Mm-hmm. Is I didn't understand. I remember the first plane ride I had with my baby. He had to be, I just had him. So he had to be a couple weeks old. But they were given the instructions to what happens if the cabin loses air, the mask falls down. You put your mask on first and then put it on your loved one. And I remember sitting there, I'm like, they crazy. I'm going to make sure my baby is covered. And then I will worry about me. And I did for years. I'm like, I ain't listening to them. They crazy. Until I thought about if I run out of breath, and I said it with an F, if I run out of breath, before I can get the mask to my baby, what good did I do? Yeah. It's the same concept. If we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot take care of the people we love. If I pass out trying to put this mask on my baby, guess what? Not only do I die, my baby dies. So yes, cover the baby. Put it on yourself, but you have to take care of yourself. Yeah. You have to take care of yourself first so that you can do what you need to do for others. Yeah. So remember that next time you think it's selfish because you're going to go get a pedicure or beard massage in your case, I guess. Just think about it that way. It don't get me wrong. Don't go gambling and spend all your money on your rent and your house. I'm just saying do little things for you. If you can afford to go do something, go do it. But you don't have to break the bank. You don't have to go into debt. You don't have to do none of that. You know what I mean? Just do a little something for yourself.
Now we talked also about the Expo.
Yes, we did.
So I want to hear more about what's the plan for the Expo and just where you at in the process.
Okay, well, I can't be giving up all my secrets first. Okay. But what I did was I shot out a video. It was so cool to me. So I shot out like a Mission Impossible video, told them what I needed, where I needed them to meet me, and this message will self-destruct in 5, 4, 3. So it was amazing. So what I had them do was send me their email address if they were interested. So I told them, if they choose to accept this mission, meet me at such and such place at such and such time. So that's where the process is. I shot it out to the people I thought would, that I know can help.
Yeah.
And I'm not close to that. I'm trying to build a committee of people that are full of resources and knowledge and intelligence and creativity, because this thing needs to be on point. On point. So the Best Version of Me Expo 2022 is just what it says. It's a place to walk in, and we are teaching you and giving you things and resources and knowledge and tools to be the best version of you. And that's what it is. So I'm excited. Like, oh my God, like big excited. But I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. So that's where I'm in the process, just getting the team together so that we can start pulling resources together.
And are you doing will it be women only, or will it be what is it, code something?
The Best Version of Me is for everybody.
Everybody.
But no, it's open, because I believe men get left out sometimes.
Yes.
And I apologize for making everything pink, but I like pink. But it's for everybody.
Yeah.
It is for everybody. We forget that they need to be the best version of themselves as well. Yes. We forget that they have mental and physical and emotional struggles, the spiritual struggles, just like we do. We forget they're human. That is what we forget. And they're human as well. As much as we like to think they're just big he-mans and she-mans, and I guess not she-mans, Iron Mans and Thors and all that. They're human.
Thank you.
You guys are human.
I appreciate that. Because hey, so now after that, you're gonna start kind of looking for what the vendors and speakers.
So we're going to, and I'll put that out there. We're going to need vendors, exhibitors, volunteers. I'm doing sponsorship packages, all that kind of stuff. So donations, anything. So all that is going to be going out to people. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
printing, graphic. I am looking for a graphic designer. So I put a filler out there for a graphic designer. So if you're interested, just hit me up with your rate sheet at sisterscafeinc@gmail.com. Or just go to the website.
As we get ready to close it out, this comment takes us right into my next and last point. I'm still learning, and it's still trying to be more for myself. And I agree with this, man. That's why you got to sit down sometimes. I see my body shutting down a lot more, and I'm only 30. Ooh, come on, Destiny, slow that thing down.
Ooh,
this book and therapy helps one step at a time. You can love God and get help. Come on now.
Yes. You better say that, Destiny.
Hey. So, and that brings me to, like I said, closing out. You think about that woman who's drowning, who you wrote that book for. And it may be some words that you've already said, but just to reiterate any points that you have.
Okay.
How does this woman get up, get out of the rut, put herself first, and become the best version of her? What's the first step?
I'm not going to give all the details. I'm going to just give her 5 ways.
Yeah.
And if she needs some details, or if he needs some details, I'm going to need you to go to the website and get the book. But 1, invest in yourself. 2, do not skip over the process. That's actually number 1. Don't skip the process. Invest in yourself. Learn the value of no. 4 is check your squad. Check who you with, who you around, your environment. That's check your squad. And 5, learn how to absolutely clap for yourself. I'm going to leave it at that. You want to know more, you can either hit me up or you can go ahead and get the book, because I do cafe sessions as well. We can do group things. You know, we got the show on YouTube. So it's just various ways you can find me, and we can discuss this in detail.
Now tell us where we can find you at.
Well, the easiest way to tell you is to go to the website, www.sisterscafeinc.com. That's sisterscafeinc.com. There you can get the link to the podcast, the YouTube channel, Solo Mojo, which is the singles community. You can buy the book. You can buy the t-shirts. You can do all of that. You can read the blog. All of that is in the, even you can find me, Facebook, all that. All that information is on the website. So just go there and take a look. Browse around, leave a little message. Let me know you were there. And you can also subscribe to the website And that way, when there's updates and blogs and events, it'll just shoot you an email automatically.
Yeah. Well, I sure appreciate you for coming on. Drop so much knowledge to the audience. Big shouts out to everybody who participated.
Can I do that real quick? Y'all, shout out to everybody that got on. Darlene, Destiny, Damien. And if I forgot anybody or didn't see them, I'm so sorry. But everybody who jumped on, who shared this post, who decided to subscribe, y'all subscribe to the podcast, his podcast. And that way you can see what he got going on as well. But thank you guys.
We love it. All right. Well, that will do it for us. I look forward to talking soon. I'll be home, check the expo, and then we'll get a little Southern classic. All right, y'all. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.
KTTV.